My mom and dad split up when I was like 5. My dad was in and out of prison. My biological mom got with this guy when I was 5. She let him molest me from the age of 5 until I was 11. It was very abusive to where she protected my little sister, but never me. I can remember trying to get out my window and her pushing me back into my stepdad. There was this little lady across the street from us in our cul-de-sac that went to church, and she used to bring me to church when my parents would let me go. And so I knew God and I knew what he was about, but as I got older, it was kind of like, how does he love me? With everything I went through. When I was 7, I actually got 7 stitches from being molested, and when I turned 15, my mom came up to me and said that she was trying to help me, and my self-esteem was really low. I mean, I just, at that young, I didn't want to live. So she came up to me and said that there's this guy she wanted me to meet, that she thought that he could help build my self-esteem. Well, he was 18 years old, and I was only 15. And I told her, I'm like, Mom, he's kind of older, and she's like, yeah, but I think he'll build you up. Well, come to find out, she was actually selling me for drugs to this guy. And I ended up getting pregnant at the age of 15. Had my first kid at the age of 15, started using drugs at the age of 15. Just struggled really hard, you know? And I was 21, and my mom actually paid these 2 guys to take me up in the woods and rape and kill me. One of them got scared and called my Aunt Lori, told my Aunt Lori that I was up there tied to a tree, told her about where I was at. My Aunt Lori came and got me, and I was unconscious, and I was put on life support then and was in a coma for a while. I moved to Albany. I had 2 other daughters, Emma and Samantha. I ended up losing them due to my addiction and just being lost and broken and really not knowing how to be a mom. And shortly after that, I overdosed on heroin trying to kill myself. They told my Aunt Lori and my grandma to make funeral arrangements because I wasn't gonna pull out of it. And I woke up to each one of my daughters on each side of me. And that was kind of like a God moment, because I'm like, I should have been dead, you know? I shouldn't have made it through this. Shortly after I moved here, God put this amazing man in my life. He is a believer, and he goes to this church. He's like, let's go to Bible study. And I'm like, God don't love me. Me go to Bible study? Heck no. And so I came. I had a wall up, a huge wall against God. And Chris actually sat me down, and he's like, why don't you think God loves you, you know? And I kind of told him a little bit of my testimony, and he's like, people have free will, and God can't control people's free will. God cried right next to you, if not more than you. And so that kind of was an eye-opening to me. I ended up getting baptized. I believe that God is amazing and God is alive, and that's what this church is about, is like to try to reach out to those broken and hurt. And I mean, this church is just amazing when it comes to that. It's just crazy to think where I'm at now with God and where I was when I first came in. God loves me like more than anybody or anything could ever love me in this world.